Nearly 1,200 years ago, the Vikings made this town, Rouen, their capital. William the Conqueror called it home before moving to England. During the Middle Ages, Rouen, with 40,000 residents, was France's second largest city. Only Paris was bigger. In the 12th century, half of today's France was ruled by England. Caught in the middle, Rouen walked a political tightrope between France and England for centuries. And because Rouen was an important English base during the 100 Years' War, this is where Joan of Arc was burned. Today, Rouen mixes dazzling Gothic architecture and contemporary bustle beautifully. It's a busy port with a pedestrian-friendly old town and a grand cathedral standing as a reminder of the town's historic importance. The spire was made of cast iron in the late 1800s, about the same time Eiffel was building his tower in Paris. At nearly 500 feet, it's the tallest in France. Roan's ornate public clock has decorated the former city hall for 500 years. Back then, just having an hour hand offered ample precision. The lamb at the end of the hour hand is a reminder that wool was the source of Roan's wealth. And the artistic highlight, lean way back, fills the underside of the arch with the Good Shepherd and lots of sheep. That thriving wool trade stoked Roan's medieval building boom. Because the chalky limestone quarried from the cliffs of the Seine River nearby was so expensive, and it wasn't great for building quality, I could actually mess it up with my thumbnail here if I wanted to, and because the oak around here was so plentiful, half-timbered buildings became a Roan forte. The oak beams provided the structural skeleton of the building. The gaps were then filled in with a mix of clay, straw, and pebbles, and plastered over. Wander the back lanes and peek into shops. This flowery and pastel hat shop is the last of its kind in Rouen. The hat maker is considered a treasure by her devoted clientele. Just around the corner, Monsieur Augy welcomes shoppers to browse through his studio and see Roan's china, known as faience, being made the traditional way. First, the clay is molded and carefully trimmed by hand. After being fired, dipped in enamel, and dried, it's lovingly hand-painted. A second firing gives it its characteristic glaze. In the 1700s, Rouen had 18 factories churning out the popular product. Today, the Augy family carries on the faience tradition. On the market square, a cross marks the spot where Joan of Arc was burned at the stake in the 15th century. As the demoralized French were reeling under English occupation, this teenager of supreme faith, after hearing divine voices, won the confidence of the French people. Dressed as a man, she was given an army and rallied her countrymen against their English invaders. In 1431, 19-year-old Joan of Arc was taken by the English, convicted of heresy, and burned right here. As the flames engulfed her, an English soldier said, "Oh my God, we've killed a saint." Nearly 500 years later, Joan of Arc was made a saint, and he was proven correct.